welcome to today's video. We're playing around with some new drugstore makeup launches. I got some things in the mail several weeks ago and I'm making my rounds through the products. I have my whole desk is full of new things that I ordered right as I moved into this new house. As I was moving out of my old house, I got some packages, cute little packages arrived at my doorstep here, and I'm getting around to trying these products and I'm going to share with you my thoughts, put it together into a look, and this is where we ended up with today. This is the look. So let's go ahead and go back in time and start from the beginning. I'm about to put my hair up in a clip, which is why my arm is like this. I'm holding my hair back. It's air drying, but this clip, let me show you. It is the cutest thing. It is a cream colored clip with black rhinestones in the shape of Mickey ears, and it's absolutely darling. I bought this for my trip, and I didn't use it during my theme park days just because a clip on the back of the head during rides and roller coasters is probably not a good idea, but I did use this, you know, in the hotel, getting ready, and it's just so cute. If I can find it, I will link it for all of the Disney fans down below. If you want a clip, I'll try to find it for you. Hair is clipped and out of the way, and let's go ahead and get started with some of these new products. Now, I am going to use a setting spray and a primer that is not a drugstore brand. I'm testing these out to see how well they worked. For the heat and humidity here where I live now, it's a lot hotter than where I used to live, so I need things that are going to help lock down the foundation and keep everything in place nicely. So I'm going to use this combo of primer and setting spray. It's the Velvet Smooth Pore Refining Primer from Iconic London. They do have products that give a lot of moisture and hydration. They also have setting sprays that do the same thing, and that just does not work for me right now. I also have the setting spray that goes with it. I bought the minis just to kind of give it a go and see. This is the Prep Set and Blur Setting Mist. So these are the two products that are not high-end that I will be incorporating into today's video. I bought these several weeks ago, and they're actually surprisingly good at blurring the skin without making the skin feel dry or tight. I've been trying to test this out underneath different foundations, and you know, I've been having some issues with foundations color match wise. So this has been working with a lot of different formulas that I've paired it with, and I'm just going to continue using that so I can do a review on it in a different video. So I'm going to do this really quickly, and then we'll get on to some foundation for today. Moving on to foundation, I decided to try this new multi-serum skin tint with SPF 40 from Versed. You can get this at Target. You can order it online at target.com or through the Versed website as well. They do have a lot of skincare products that you can purchase too. I have not tried too much of their skincare, but this is something that kind of caught my eye to see more of the cosmetic products being released from this brand. They're mostly skincare, and that's what they first started off with. And again, the match is not gonna be right. I keep saying that in every video just in case I have a new viewer, a new follower. I got really dark this summer, so anything that I purchased in the weeks before moving into this house that I didn't get a chance to play with yet, they're gonna be my original shades. So this is the shade 3P, and it's gonna be light. But I'm going to still try this. And that's the 3P shade, right? Really light, I'm telling you. Also, another side note, you can pick this up at Ulta stores as well. Ulta Online is now starting to carry Versed, and I think they also have a space for this brand in stores. So what I'm gonna do is mix a liquid bronzer to this just to kind of bump this shade up a little bit. But as you can see, it's kind of runny, not super thin, not thick at all. It has that SPF 40, which is gonna give you some nice sun protection. Not what you should fully rely on for sun protection, but it's built in and it's nice to have that. So I've added a little bit of a liquid bronzer, and I'm just gonna spread this out with my finger first. They do sell a brush to go with it, and I did pick that up as well. Looks like this. I've used this brush once before. It is a little bit more flexible. It's not quite as dense as I would have preferred, but I'm gonna try it with their skin tint just to see if I can kind of blend this out. And this brush seems to be doing a fine job at spreading the formula out, and it does have a decent amount of coverage. I'm gonna pick some more up with the brush and see how that looks. And I feel like doing that automatically just gave me a little bit of a lighter coverage versus this side where I spread most of it with my finger. So just kind of keep that in mind. If depending on how you apply it, kind of determines the amount that you're gonna get. And by adding that liquid bronzer, I feel like it definitely gave me a more adequate match. Not the perfect match, but it's much more doable. I do like how this is looking on the skin, and surprisingly, it has more coverage than I expected. I expected this to just be almost sheer. And you know, I have a thing about skin tints. So while I'm blending this in, let's just chat about that. I feel like brands do skin tints and then they're really sheer, but then they do skin tints and they have a lot of coverage. So it's kind of like, what is even a skin tint anyways? I thought a skin tint was something that just kind of gave you barely anything, helps even things out, maybe some skincare benefits, maybe a little bit of SPF coverage in it, but we're seeing coverage as like foundation coverage in these skin tint products, and it's kind of confusing, right? Am I the only one? Or am I thinking too much into it? I don't know. But it's like, okay, I would say this is kind of leaning towards that medium in coverage on this side especially. Here it's just a little bit lighter. You can see a little bit of my scarring from old acne, but other than that, I think it did a nice job at evening things out. You can see some of my freckles. I have some freckles here, some sunspots that are starting to show up because of the sun exposure that I've had this summer. But in general, this does look fresh and healthy, and I like it. What do you think? Have you tried this? If you have, let me know. And I do get a subtle hint of SPF. It's not bad though, not bad at all. From here, let's go into some new contours. So Morphe launched some new products. They've had their major comeback. And I have to say, surprisingly, the products that they've launched have been really nice, and I have loved so many of them. They have new contour sticks. And the first thing I thought of was my Victoria Beckham contour stick that looks very similar to this. So think of like a jumbo shadow stick. That's the size of these. This is called the Shapeshifter Micro Contour Stick, and I picked the shade Refined. I like the packaging, that soft white, kind of off-white look, and then you have the end cap here that is the designated color on the inside. And again, it's kind of like that jumbo shadow stick. You twist it up and it looks like that, just like a shadow. And I'm gonna swatch this shade. That is the color Refined. And this shade does have a little bit of warmth to it, maybe because it's kind of against my more tan skin. So the lighter shade does seem to have just a touch more gray. So maybe that's where I should have been shade-wise, but we're gonna just make this work. I like the idea of a smaller, more precise kind of contour stick. I feel like you can really get it precise to where you want it and kind of control the product as much as possible versus it being a liquid where you pump it out into your hand, or a stick that's a little bit wider than this. This sort of size and width of this applicator is ideal for, again, more precise controlled application. So I like it. I'm going to use my Makeup by Mario F4 brush, and I'm going to use, let's try the smaller end. It's a double-ended brush. I'm going to use the small side and blend this in. They have a bronzing stick that I reviewed when that first launched several weeks back. It's actually a really nice formula, blends nicely, and this is essentially the same thing. Blending in really easily, not hard to work with, not being streaky, not muddy looking either. So I feel like this Refined shade is a really pretty color and a nice match. So let's add a little bit more and let's continue to blend this in. But it's so easy. Like, I don't really have to work hard at all. I'm not gonna do anything directly around the temple area. You could use this perfectly though for nose contour if you like to do that, or you can contour the bottom lip to make it look fuller. So we'll do that. It's like a little bit of a makeup trick to make your nose a little bit more slim or a better shape if that's what you want. Or just a contour just to see what that looks like. Like, I don't do this very often. And when you do it and you kind of blend it out, you can use your fingers to kind of soften that. This just makes it so effortless and easy, almost like you can't even see that I did that, right? Like, it's just kind of made the nose look just a little bit slimmer. It's not something that everyone wants to do, and I get that. I just wanted to show you how that would look if you were to try it. But this was also really great for keeping it right here. If you follow the top of your ear, that's where you want your contour, or you can kind of feel where there is a dip right in where your bone is. That's where you would want something like this. So you can go in and do like a line, and then again, the same brush and blend that in. Or if you use a foundation brush to blend your foundation in, use that to help blend it. It'll give it a more natural look as well. And this color is also really nice, so it looks natural. It's not too gray where it looks off. Too gray of a tone doesn't look right. It has to be done right. That's why contour shades can be a little tricky, because if you don't have the right tone or right undertone either, it's just not gonna look good. But this is beautiful. If you like to contour your lips, you could do that as well, top and bottom. I'm gonna do just the bottom. And then you can use your finger to soften that. And instantly what that's gonna do is create a shadow right at the base of your bottom lip. So what that does, it makes the lip look fuller, like it's almost like coming forward a little bit more. So it's like an optical illusion. That's the cool part of makeup. And I love it. Now, I don't do this every single day. I do typically do that, though, if I'm using my Victoria Beckham contour stick, which is significantly more expensive than this product. And if you want something like that, just get this one. It's gonna do the same thing. Let's do the top a little bit as well. And then just use the finger to blend. I did have a little bit of lip balm, which we'll talk about the lip balm in a minute. I also picked up some of these. I went into Ulta to get a couple things, and I saw that there are some new Sacheu products. This is the same brand that has done the peel off lip stain. The first time I used that lip stain, it was kind of like a learning curve for me. I figured it out. It's fine. It works, and it's very popular, and I can see why. But I decided to try these products. So it's the cheek stain, like stay and then dash N, which is different. And then the contour stay in. So the contour, obviously we already did some contour, but I was thinking that maybe I could try it anyways and just kind of show you that too. So the shade in that contour one is 02 Giving Iconic. Cute. I like the packaging, it's pretty cool as well. And then the blush shade that I chose, 01 I'm Cute. So I thought it would be kind of cool. Let me show you the applicator. So you have the cap that has like a similar color, I think, to what's going to be on the inside. Now, I haven't swatched it, obviously. I haven't even used it because it's one of those little puffy tips that you kind of twist at the bottom and it comes up through the center. So let's go ahead and give it a little bit of a twist here and see how long it takes to get this product to show up. And hopefully it doesn't make a big mess, but I do like this applicator. Do you see that? It's very cool, different. So let's give it a twist. Ooh, there she is. And let me show you on this other hand what this shade looks like. And I think this is gonna be a nice shade. You see, it's got a little bit of a kind of grayish undertone, but it still has that nice kind of bronze color. Not super warm either, which is nice, so it doesn't kind of cross that line between contour and bronzer, but there's a larger swatch of that shade there. Has just a little bit of gray to it, right? You see that? And then the blush, let's talk about that one, the I'm Cute. That one has a puffy tip, but the tip is bigger. So let me show you what that looks like in comparison to the contour. Do you see the pink one has just a bit more of a wider puffy tip? Still rounded, the same thing you do. At the bottom, you kind of twist this up. And let's see what we get. And I am gonna set this with some powder because here where I live, I'm in Alabama now, and it's hot and humid, okay? So I do need to use some type of powder over the top of these. Come on, let's see. Oh yeah, that's cute. I can see why they chose that name. That is really cute. It's kind of like a bright pink. And keep in mind, based off of your skin tone, it'll kind of change how that looks. But this, I can see this looking a little bit brighter and more intense on myself when I'm a little bit more fair, when my tan fades. So that's really exciting. I hope it stays. Actually, you know what? Let's wipe some of this off because I'm thinking this is supposed to stay on. Let's just play it safe. Let's not be too crazy, okay? And let's go back into that Makeup Armario and let's see how this looks when I blend this out. Okay. It's blending. I was kind of concerned, you know, stain type of products, long wear type of things. It's generally hit or miss for me personally, but I think that this actually gave me a little bit of warmth, right? Or am I just seeing things? Is it the light? I have the windows open, got these lights on, I got tube lights behind me on, I've got a ring light, I've got all the things. I think it's kind of, ooh, I kind of went up too high on that dot. Okay, it's fine, it's fine. It's gonna be okay, no problem. I think it's gonna be a nice shade. And you know, there is a little bit of like a tacky kind of feel, but I'm not sure if it's this or the stick from Morphe or if it's the Versed Skin Tint. But either way, it's not terrible. I don't feel like my hair's gonna stick to it. I'm gonna set it anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Okay, yay, I like that. I'm gonna take what's left on my brush and go on the side of the nose, through the temples as well. I don't know if I'm gonna add more to the forehead area. Maybe not. Let me just kind of blend a little bit. I still have to do concealer. So I think from here, we should probably move into a little bit of concealer. I think I need a little pinch more on this side. I'm trying to debate whether or not I go in straight into the blush and then concealer, or concealer then blush. Let's do blush then concealer. Let's switch it up, because you know, why not? This is the I'm Cute shade, and I like how this looks, the packaging, and I like how it feels as well when you hold it. Let's do a couple dots. This is supposed to be a long wear liquid form. I think I mentioned that already. And let me see, where's my brush? Let's go in with the Rare Beauty blush brush. I've been using this a lot. Honestly, it's one of the few clean brushes that I have because I packed dirty brushes. Yeah, I was naughty. I did not clean them before I packed them into moving boxes. And honestly, I don't care. I'm gonna have to clean them eventually. I'm looking at that stash. That's my next project on my to-do list, and that's cute. I can see why it's called cute. I like that shade. Anyways, I do have to clean those brushes like ASAP. Let's do this side here. So I've built this color up a little bit more, and I do like it. I think it's fresh. It's pretty, the shade. It gives me a little bit of color, not too overdone, but also not too understated where there's not much there and you can't see it. I think it's beautiful. And I also like the fact that it is a buildable type of formula. I would say work quickly because it's long wear, so it's meant to be on. As far as how long it's gonna stay on, who knows? But I would still recommend that you work quickly if you're gonna build the color up so that you don't have issues with blending. But that blended out nicely over the skin tint. It blended nicely over the contour stick, and even the blush went well over this contour product from the same brand. So that's good to know that everything kind of works and vibes well together. So now let's go in with a little bit of concealer. I'm gonna go into the latest concealer that I've purchased in a new shade. This is number 115 in the Maybelline Eraser. This is really the only concealer that's quite this dark in my collection. And it is still a little bit on the light side, but it's okay. We're gonna have a little bit of a brighter under eye. No big deal. It seems like it's a Sacheu kind of day, isn't it? I have another new product from them, and I also did pick this up in store. So if you go into your store and they have it, most likely you'll find this. This is their new Brow Freckle Stay In. So Stay-N. So Stay In, and this is the shade Caramel Latte. So this is actually pretty cool. One side is a long wear brow, like gel type of product that's tinted, and then the opposite side is a freckle tint pen, which I've never used a freckle pen. I actually have some from Sun Exposure. They usually come out during the summertime. So I thought, let's kind of play on that a little bit and kind of intensify it. And the bonus is that there is a tinted brow gel. Now, I already did my brows prior to filming, so I won't be using that. But I'll show you. It's, like I said, it's a double-ended product. So one end is the brow spoolie with the tint, and we'll use that in a different video. So that's one side. The opposite side, this is really cool. You have a brow pen that has a little bit of a ball shape on the very tip, and it looks to be like a felt tip type of product. So the idea is that you just kind of dot this on, kind of stamp it, and then use your fingers to kind of move and bring that product into different areas. And I think I'm gonna do this probably before I set my under eye area, because I think I'm gonna kind of take it through this zone here. I've never done this. I don't even know if I'm gonna like the way this looks, but what I'm gonna do is get my mirror, look pretty closely, and then start dotting this on. And let me just do some dots on the back of my hand so you can see that is the tone of the Caramel Latte. So it comes out quite a bit. And then the idea is that you just kind of tap your finger and you kind of just move this around, and it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the idea, is to make this look natural, where it just looks like it's real freckles. And you have some small ones, irregular shapes, bigger ones, some that are lighter, some that are darker. They have a couple shades. I'm not sure if this is the right shade for me. I do have like some beauty marks. I call them birthmarks. I have them all over my body. Like I have hundreds of them, like little dots like this all over my body. And they kind of look, some are really dark, some are really light, some look a little bit more warm, some darker brown. I don't know. It's a mix all over my body. And I also have red ones, so cherry angiomas, and I have those. So I don't know. I don't know if this is the right shade. And I do have a couple that already are out. So let's just do a couple little dots like this. Just kind of random, right? Like so. And then I'm going to take my finger and just kind of pat that out a little bit. And then use what's left on my finger and kind of drag it a little bit out here. See if I can get that. But it does, I don't know, it does dry pretty quick. So I'm not sure if this is the right color for me. But it does look kind of dark. Does that look weird? Tell me. Like, I don't know. Like, it's cute, and I've seen it on other videos and social media over on TikTok, and it just looks really cute when it's done and your makeup is done. I don't know, I like freckles. I like the way they look. I think it's cool. So let's try a little bit more, and let's just do just kind of random and quickly. But maybe if I go over it, let's go over it with a little bit of my foundation brush. So this side with freckles, is it a yes? I don't know. And then nothing. You tell me. Does it look real? Am I trying too hard? Am I trying too hard here? I do have some in this region here that are just naturally coming up. So I thought, hey, let's just kind of spread it up in this zone here. I feel like at this point I'm kind of committed, right? So I got to do this other side. I can't not do it because then that looks fake, right? What have I done? So here's where we're at. I kind of toned it down a little bit. I took whatever was left on my foundation brush and just went over it just to kind of cover up some of that and tone it down. And I think it definitely softened that a little bit. I think it was just a little shocking how dark this was. So I think I probably should have gone a shade lighter than I initially thought. But you know what? Since I can tone it down and make it work with a little foundation, I feel like now when I look at it, it's just ever so slight, like almost like a shadow. Kind of what I had naturally happening anyways from just the sun exposure from this summer. So I feel like with more practice, it could be cute. It could be for, you know, a time and a place. I don't know if that was the right thing to do today for the first time on camera, but it is what it is. I'm going to set my under eyes now with the Infallible Fection powder. This is the pink shade. I'm going to use a powder puff to set that. And again, I'm not sure if it's ideal to do the freckles before concealer, after, before powder. Who knows? I have no idea, but I'll continue playing with it and just kind of see how I feel about it. I just wanted to try something different. Now, if it doesn't look good, please be nice. Please be nice in the comments, okay? Don't be so mean. I mentioned earlier about setting the blush to make sure that I have the best longevity. Now, I know that the blush formula is supposed to be long wearing, but I also know that the heat and humidity where I live does play a role in how well the makeup wears, and I want to prep and make sure that I ensure that everything is going to be there till the end of the day. So I'm going to go in with a Morphe blush. This is the Cheek Thrills Trio, and this is the shade called Blind Date. I'm just going to use that powder at the bottom to set that Sacheu blush, and I'm going to do a little bit, just ever so slightly. I'm not picking up a lot of product. I want to keep it light, fresh, just easy and simple. It's just kind of like a simple look that I could do every single day. I'm not trying to do anything crazy. I'm also not going to do anything dramatic with the eyes, just because I don't really feel like it. And I also have an issue with a little bit of eczema on my actual lids. On this side, you could probably see a little bit of redness around my eye. And I don't want to irritate it too much by doing a lot of shadows. So you're just going to keep it easy. It is still summer, so let's just, you know, keep it kind of summery and light. Yeah, that's cute. I like it. There are a few new lippies at the drugstore that I wanted to share with you, so if you're interested, you can go and check them out for yourself. I've been using this specific lip balm. I mentioned that we'll talk about the lip balm earlier, so this is the one that I've been using for the last few days. It's from Neutrogena. They have the new Hydro Boost Lip Balm in Sheer Berry. Comes in an actual glass jar with a screw-on lid. And that's what that product looks like. You see, it's a nice kind of thick, rich, luxurious formula. It hydrates. It has that kind of berry scent that you can smell. It doesn't have a super bad taste, but it doesn't taste yummy. It's not like fruity or flavorful, but it's not a disgusting taste, which I'm glad. So I have not tried a lot of Neutrogena lip products. So when I saw this on the Ulta site, I thought, you know what, this is actually worth a try. But then I also did notice that Ulta now has the Neutrogena lip oils, and I have been using the lip oil for a few days, and I think it's just one shade. I didn't save the box. Now, did I? No, I did not. Actually, I saved the box of the lip balm. This is the Hydro Boost lip balm, so it looks like that. That's what the packaging looks like, so you can find it in stores. And it is full of, obviously, of the hyaluronic acid, which is part of the Hydro Boost line. But it has a lot of hydrating things like shea butter, you have castor seed oil, cocoa seed butter, you have rosemary leaf extract, sunflower extract, so lots of good things in it. I did not save the packaging for the lip oil though. And I think it's just one shade that this comes in for now. It would be nice for them to take this formula and make it into tinted shades, But I like this for lip prep before putting on makeup, before filming. I had this one on earlier. So I think I'm going to prep my lips and do the lip oil. The lip oil does feel quite nice and nourishing, as most lip oils do. It is a little bit thicker, so it does hang on for a little while. It has a standard doe foot applicator that is pretty wide, as you can see the tip there. So it covers the surface area of your lips really nicely. Now, the one thing I will say is that using it on the back end like this or front end is fine. But if you use the tip of it, I find that if there's not a lot of product on there, it does feel a little scratchy if you're trying to use it like this. Does that make sense? I don't know if it does, but you know, just use it like a paddle, kind of like this, and you'll be fine. Colourpop has these new Hydro Pop lip products. I think these are supposed to be like a glossy kind of stain type of product. And let's see, yeah, glossy lip stain in the shade called Mantra is the only one that I picked. Again, just to try it out. I don't want to buy a bunch of these and have the same type of formula in different shades and in multiple brands, because we've seen a glossy lip stain. It's not a new concept by any means. However, their packaging is darling. It's in the shape of a heart. Do you see that? And it says Hydro Pop on the top and a clear bottom component. And then it says Colourpop there. Let's see, what does this smell like? It doesn't really have much of a scent. And the applicator, it's a little bit thinner of a doe foot. That is so me, of course. So Lexi shade, that nice kind of everyday pink color. So let's let that hang out on the back of my hand. Let's see how well that stains. And I'm gonna prep my lids with an eyeshadow primer. The AC just kicked on and it closes the door. That's what that sound was. While my eyeshadow primer sets a little bit, I'm gonna give it a few minutes to dry down. I use a Too Faced Shadow Insurance. I know it's not drugstore, but that's the primer that I use every day. That or a MAC Painterly Paint Pot. I don't have anything from the drugstore for a primer that actually works. The e.l.f. one does pretty decent. I guess I could have used that, but I use my go-tos. So while that dries, I'm going to set my face before doing mascara and eyeshadow with the iconic London setting spray that I talked about at the start of the video. This is the Prep Set and Blur setting mist. And again, this is just the mini, just to kind of try it out. And I did mention earlier that these two together have been doing quite well for me. So I'm gonna keep trying these out and testing them out, and I'll do a full in-depth video talking about them a little bit more in the future. I know I mentioned earlier that I wanted to keep the eyes pretty simple because I'm dealing with a little bit of an eczema patch here and I don't want to continue to irritate it and make it worse. But I also do have this new liquid eyeshadow from Revlon that I wanted to try. They launched the new Revlon Glimmer liquid shadows and I haven't even taken the seal off of mine. I wanted to try this and I've been saving it for a video. I chose, of course, a bronzy type of shade. If you know me, if you know, you know. I love a good bronze. This is shade number 208 Starstruck. And it comes with a doe foot applicator so that you can directly swipe if you want, or you can work off of the back of your hand, which is typically what I do. I will put it on the back of my hand to swatch it, and this is really pretty actually. It almost kind of looks like a pretty rose gold type of shade, right? Should we do a little bit of bronze in the eye, like a bronze powder bronzer? I'm thinking. And I'm gonna use my Milani Silky Matte Bronzer. This is in the shade 02 Sunkissed. I'm also gonna take that same color bronzer and that same brush and sweep some under the eyes a little bit, just to add a little something there, you know, why not? I'm gonna start one eye at a time, and I'm just gonna kind of tap. That's actually really pretty. It's a little softer than I expected because I'm using my fingers and I'm doing light layers, but you can build this up to be a little bit more metallic if you put more. Of course, if you use the applicator directly onto your lids, you will get more product, more intensity, more depth, more richness based off of the color that you choose. That looks really nice. I actually like the way that looks. Let's do the same thing on this side. I want to add a little bit of eyeliner, and I'm going to use something super affordable, still relatively new. It's the eyeliners from e.l.f. These are the Smoky Kohl liners. The black shade is the one that I'm going to use today. It's called Black Velvet. I'm just going to do a very thin line across the base of my lash line. And then the newest mascara to join my collection that is drugstore is from Maybelline, the Falsies Lash Lift. I used this in my previous drugstore shop with me, where we went shopping together, and it took you long. Showed you some things around Target that I purchased, put it all together in a look for you. So if you haven't seen it, check that video out. I'm gonna do 2 coats on the top, 1 at the bottom. Okay, here we are with the mascara complete. I did do those 2 coats and I did one kind of generous coat at the bottom just to kind of highlight the lower lashes. And I just realized that I forgot about this stain on the back of my hand from that Colourpop product. So let's go ahead and take a napkin and see what happens if it stains. And it left a little bit of a stain. I don't know if this is gonna be as, I don't know. I don't think this is gonna be as much of a stain like other brands that it's like, whoa, it's on there. It's got some depth to it. It could just be the shade. I'm gonna try it anyways. I'm gonna take off that lip balm or that lip oil from Neutrogena and use that on my bare lips to show you what that color looks like. And that's the Hydro Pop in Mantra. I think it's a pretty shade. I think it's soft, it's light, it almost kind of looks like my lips, just a little bit more amplified, a little bit more color, and I like it. It's not like a crazy wild shade, and of course I pick colors that I typically wear and feel comfortable in. So I feel like this is just gonna give me just a wash of color. Once that kind of glossiness wears off, I think it's just gonna be a very sheer light stain. I bought one of these lip color butters from About Face. The shade is called Pink Pina, and this is the Cherry Pick. I think that's the name, Cherry Pick, maybe is the name of the product. Lip color butter is what it says. But it looks like that. It's one of those clickable pens. You can buy these at Ulta, and you can just see the color through the top. Let me show you that. My camera will focus. Come on, where are you? There it is. It's trying to find my face, the camera, so hopefully that was in focus. And then you just kind of give it those clicks. Let's see if I can get this to come up. You don't want to do it too much. If this is really soft and buttery, which it is, you don't want to overdo it. That's the shade Pink Pina. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty. Very creamy. And that is the About Face Pink Pina. I like this color. It's really cute. It's kind of like a peach with a hint of pink to it. It's not super corally. It's not too peachy, but it's also not too pink. Kind of hard to describe, but does that not look like it has a little bit of a peach tint to it and just a hint of like a pinky undertone to it? I think it's pretty. Very, very pretty color. The formula feels really soft, very nourishing, comforting. It kind of filled in the lines of my lips a little bit. But if you put too much on and you press your lips together, do you see that? It's kind of weird, right? I don't know. Maybe I put too much on. Let's take some of it off. And blend with the finger. Okay. That's better. Much better. So if you overload it, because it's so thick and buttery and it's called a lip color butter, it's going to be thicker. You'll get those kind of like little lines from your top to bottom lip as you're talking if you put too much on, but take some of it off. You still have some of the color, not as glossy, of course, you know, give or take some of that gloss. You're going to kind of lose a little bit of that, and that's okay. I think for me though, I want to put a little bit of a lip liner. What do you think? A little bit of a lip liner to define the lips, and then we'll add a little bit more of this. I think I'm gonna go into the Plumping lip liners from Milani. These are also pretty new for the brand. The full name is called the Keep It Full Plumping Lip Liner, and I have shade 110 Go All a Pout. I've used this before in a previous video, and I've actually worn down the tip pretty significantly. This is a little spicy. When I first tried this in that first video, I tried the new pH plumpers from L'Oreal, and those have a little bit of a tingle, so I couldn't really feel the spiciness of this lip liner. However, since that video has been posted, I've used this because I do really like the shade, but she's a little spicy, okay? So just kind of be warned that if you are sensitive to that, this may not be for you. That's kind of where I draw the line. It's kind of spicy. I feel it. It does feel like a subtle burn. I know it doesn't sound very pleasant, but that's what plumpers do. They kind of burn and cause an irritation or reaction in your lips to swell, and that's why they plump. So you're gonna feel a little something. It's not super bad though. I can deal with it, and I'm a little baby. I'm a chicken when it comes to plumpers. So it's okay as far as the sting, but the color is beautiful, and I really do like it. So I think I'm gonna try to define my lips with the product on my lips instead of taking it off. Is that gonna work? Better with a lip liner, right? I like the lip liner combo with the About Face product. And then kind of tapping off a little bit of that excess. I did put too much on of this. I feel like this gave me a little bit of color. I still feel the nourishment and that conditioning feel of the lip butter formula, but not as intense. And it also kind of toned down that slight pastel kind of vibe that this color has because it is quite nude. And I think with a lip liner, that's gonna ground this color specifically and make it look beautiful. And I'm gonna do this combo again. I do really like it. And I don't feel any spiciness. I think it's because I had this on already on my lips. So that is a good thing to know, that if you have something on your lips, it kind of creates a buffer between the formula and your actual skin, so it may not burn as much. But that's beautiful. Those are the two products for today's lip combo. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments. And that wraps up all the new products for today's video. I hope that this was helpful to see some of these new launches, seeing them applied and put together into a look. You can get some of these at your local drugstore, and you can also get them on Ulta's website or in Ulta stores, so check it out. Everything is gonna be listed and linked for you as always in the description box. Let me know if you've tried any of these products. What did you enjoy the most? What looks the best today in this video? I always love hearing from you guys. You guys are incredible with your sweet comments. The love that I receive from you guys is just incredible. It's amazing and I love it. I love this community that we're building here on this channel, so thank you so much for being a part of it. Thank you for being here, spending some of your day. Take care, you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.